Hi, I'm Anne. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A in celebration for my 1,000 subscriber mark. So a few days ago, possibly a week ago, I made a video where I called for questions. Any questions, and you guys definitely delivered, and there were some very unique questions. So I'm going to get in that in a minute. However, since this is probably going to be a shorter video anyway, I did want to also take this time to make an exciting announcement. I just started a new job. As of when you're watching this, I will have gone through my first few days of training. I didn't want to talk about the job until I officially started it. So in downtown Dayton, there is an amazing little vintage bookstore. They have stuff for cheap prices. They have $5 to $10 books that are used, but then they also have very rare books as well. So they have an incredible array of books, and it's a very fun bookstore to go shopping in, and they are also predominantly do their sales online. They are called Kubik Fine Books. I will link their website down in the description, but basically they sell used books, both very rare and fine books, as well as just like your average fun books. And I'm so thrilled to be starting this job. It's just a part-time light job, but my two dream jobs were, one, to work in a vintage bookstore, and two, to become an author. And the first one has become true. Basically, I was looking for a job where I wouldn't have to work like 40-hour weeks, that I could still stay home a lot of the time and make meals for my husband, things like that, but I would bring a little extra money in. I have also talked to the owner, and he is excited to try to do some collaborations with my YouTube channel about the bookstore. So whether it is like filming around the bookstore, I have so many ideas, fun ideas of kind of showcasing the bookstore, because I love shopping here for a while. So to actually be able to show you the amazing finds they have there. I actually got my very old copy of Strong Poison by Dorothy L. Sayers there. So I'm pretty sure like every Dorothy L. Sayers book they get in, either I buy or my sister buys, because we both love Dorothy L. Sayers. So look forward to, in the future, doing some collaborations with the bookstore. And I am not planning to pull back on any of my filming or any video outage. It's not like I'm planning to film less videos every single week. I'm hoping to film the same amount. So nothing should change from your end, but you may see different types of video. Let's get on to the Q&A part of the video. Question number 1. Are you still studying at university, and what is your major again? So my major is history, and so I have a AA degree, an associate's degree in creative writing, and then I have a bachelor's degree in history. I graduated with a bachelor's degree this previous spring, so technically I'm done with university. I could go back for grad school, and in fact, basically all my teachers were encouraging me to, because they were like, oh, you're such a good student, but I just don't see value in it, because I don't plan to pursue a career that would need me to have a master's in history. Next question. Have you considered doing a reading of some of your writing on this channel? Ooh. No, I've never considered that, but yes, I may, in theory, someday do some readings of my books, or just talk more about my books. I am planning to focus more on my writing in the next year or so, so it makes sense where maybe I'll read some excerpts to you guys of some of my writing. Why are you interested in Eastern history? It all goes back to K-dramas. So back in, I would say 2011, I was probably about 16 or 17 at the time that I saw my first, at first it was a Japanese drama, and then I started watching Korean dramas, and there was one specifically I remember came out in, I think, 2011, The Moon That Embraces the Sun. I'll insert some clips here, but basically it's a court drama. It's a court romance set in, I believe, the Joseon dynasty. I think it's like the early Joseon dynasty. And I also really got into Faith, which stars Lee Min-ho, and that is also around like 2011, 2012. I don't remember exactly the year, but that one's in the Bakja dynasty. So when I was a young teenager, I really got into Korean dramas. So it just made sense, because I loved history so much, that I would expand outward from just the dramas. Because let's face it, dramas and movies and televisions, they're very stylized. They're not real history. I mean, they may pull on real history, but they're not like very focused on being historically accurate, so I just branched out and started learning about Korean history specifically. And I was really sad to realize that there's not a lot of access you can get to Korean history specifically in the US. There's a lot more information you can find about Japan and Korea and China especially. So that's when I was like 17 or 18, I started getting into Chinese classics. And so I read Journey to the West, I believe, was one of the first Chinese classics I read. And I kind of just fell in love with the culture, the mythology, the politics of the history. So it kind of just branched from my introduction of Korean dramas. The next one is, what kind of music do you like? I listen to a lot of music. Recently I've been getting into like classical type music. I love setting on just some ambiance that has some music, like piano music in the background. I really got into Alan Walker for a while. He is a, I guess, music DJ slash songwriter. I also like some, you know, very popular mainstream type singers. Billie Eilish is one that I've enjoyed a lot of her songs. So I'm all over when it comes to my taste in music. I'm less specifically like into one songwriter or one musical band or one style of music, and I just kind of pull songs from different genres of music. So sometimes I might want to listen to some classical music, sometimes I might want some ballads, sometimes I might like some rocky music to get me dancing. So I'm all over the place with my interest in music. Who are your favorite saints? Hey, I had to get a Catholic question in there. Oof! Well, I would say Thomas More, St. Thomas More, is my favorite saint. St. Augustine is one that I've really enjoyed, and most of the ones I predominantly like are the ones that are the doctors of the church, which basically means they wrote a lot. So St. Augustine wrote some incredible books, whether it's The City of God or Confessions. Then you have Thomas More, you have Utopia, you have a dialogue against Comfort Against Tribulation. Don't remember the title of that book, but you get my point. So I really enjoy the doctors of the church. Mainly those are my favorite saints. Augustine and Thomas More are my top two. This is a great question. What would a Booktube convention look like? Where do you think it should be held / included? Wouldn't that be awesome? Yes, I agree. That would be awesome, but I also feel like all of us are introverts, so to be around like a large amount of people, we might be driven insane. But obviously, if you're gonna have a Booktube convention, you have to hold it in like a library. Like, just rent out a library for the day. Don't actually talk to each other. Just pick up a book and read together. That sounds like my ideal convention. And, you know, of course, we would have tea and coffee and, like, pastries. Also, tell us about your household family, if any want to be on camera, and how they feel about the channel. So the only one who currently lives with me and would actively do videos with me is my husband, and he has been on a few videos with me. He loves being on videos with me. It's just his taste in reading is so different than mine that oftentimes we wouldn't have the same books to talk about. So when I read one of his fantasies, maybe we'll do a book review for that, but most of the time he's not actively present on my channel, but he has been in a few videos. However, all of the rest of my family, I don't actively live with anymore. All my family, my sister and my mother, my father passed away when I was 15, so he's not in the picture, and my husband, who are, like, I would say closest to me when it comes to my family, they all know about my YouTube channel, support me in my YouTube channel, sometimes chat about me about stuff that I talk about in my YouTube channel, so they're all positive and supportive. Oh, this one, Shelley Swearengin. Who are your favorite female protagonists? How do I narrow it down? Like, the first one that comes to mind has to be Lizzie Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. But I also feel like Anne Elliot from Persuasion is great. In fact, all the leading ladies of Jane Austen, I absolutely love. Even Emma, even though I feel like she is less liked than a lot of the protagonists, but I enjoy her character a lot. So yeah, all those characters. Another one that comes to mind is Margaret Hale from North and South. I absolutely love her, especially since she starts from being very immature in the beginning and kind of grows up during the book. And I love characters who do that. Those are my favorite types of characters, who have a vast change from beginning to end of book. Jane Eyre from Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I also really enjoy her. There's a lot of classic female protagonists, but I will say, like, most of the female protagonists that I really love so much are all from classics. I don't really get into a lot of modern female protagonists. We talked recently about you traveling, so my question is, which are your top 2 countries that you would like to visit and why? Well, obviously Korea. We've established that I'm obsessed with Korea. And I also, specifically South Korea, because I really doubt that I would want to go into North Korea because communist country. But South Korea has so much history, and of course it's a democratic country, so you could go into a lot easier than you could, like, say, China. You could travel around in Korea a lot more. And the second one would be England. A lot of the classics I absolutely love are English. There's so many places I would love to travel in England, just like rent a little like camper van or something like that and travel around England with my husband. I would absolutely love that. Just like see all the houses of all the great authors, whether it's the Bronte sisters or Jane Austen, G.K. Chesterton, Dorothy L. Sayers, kind of trace their paths, see Oxford University, see all these like historical castles. So I would say South Korea, Korea in general, as well as England. So there's my Q&A. Thank you so much for watching and for 1,000 subscribers. I'm so grateful. And if you like this video, like, subscribe. I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.